Any more questions for Mr. Faust or Mr. Waltz?
Are you aware that that building's been there for 40+ years? And we never have, is that about right?
No, that was built later on during
What year was it
the,
built?
That was probably built in
yeah, that was built during,
96 is when Jelco
Coach
was
Wells.
built. Same people
Tenure.
done that building built
Late
Jelco.
90s.
They was building that while they was doing Jelco.
Late 90s.
yeah.
30+ years. We never had any problem till we were gifted with a rock quarry behind us about 2 years ago. And that's my concern, moving forward, for doing anything with it. Was that ever took into consideration with you all?
I think what we done, we had it monitored. I say we, Potters had it monitored.
Well,
At the end of that
we
football
want to
field.
trust them.
Let's
take their word for it.
No, I mean, they did, S&ME, they come in and monitored it. 'Cause I was there when they put it up. At the end of that football field, there's a weatherhead sitting there. That's where they hooked it up to. And it stayed hooked up right there. 'Cause me and George would go check it to make sure, and nothing ever happened on that part of it. Now, whether it happened before that, I don't know. But I know the whole time
Did
they
we
had.
hire a soil engineer, somebody like that?
Yeah, that's who it was. S&M.
He was working for us.
Huh?
He was working for us.
They done it for us, our part.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
But getting back to my question, was that ever in consideration with you all?
But if you're on bad soil, it's gonna go one way or the other, whether you have the quarry next door, water or whatever, you know, you're on bad soil, it's gonna sink. You know, vibrations might speed it up a little bit, but it's gonna go anyway.
Would you not have the same issue when you talk about putting a new building?
No, you won't. I think exactly what happened on that job site was, I think whatever they took off that field, they put it over there and it didn't compact it to what it needed to be. And through the years, it settled. And the concrete, that's what gives.
Well, I'm like Mr. Berg, it's quite a coincidence that it happened after they started.
Well,
Quarry
I'll
for rock.
say this. I didn't find out until probably a year and a half ago that it was like that. Because you really couldn't walk in there and tell what was wrong with it, because it was solid black, the whole everything was. The walls, the floors, the ceiling, you really couldn't tell the difference. The only way you could tell the difference was if you had that door open and it shined light right there, you could see in between the stations where it sunk. That's the only reason we know that. That's when we found out about it. But it'd been like that for longer than that, hadn't it? So, but that's when we found out about it.
And didn't the old football field, didn't it have drains?
We had drain
And now it
issues
has a new drainage system, right?
down about the, I guess, 30-yard line, where the drain is. If you were standing on the drain, if you would run a straight line across the field, it probably sunk that far.
But the
So,
new turf field,
the new turf field took care of all
so
that.
see, if that was causing it, that would be.
I mean, there was busted drains there, and it was washing all the field out from around the drain, and it had a big sinkhole in there.
Any more questions, Mr. Burgess? Any more questions?
Question,
Okay.
did we have, the money that was allocated for the roofs, that was ESSER funds? So we can move the 200,000
This
and
is out of-
not, without
this is
any
a
further
capital
approval, or?
That's what he said. I mean, this was a capital outlay account that was set up to pay for any that the ESSER would not pay on the roof project. But where the roof projects come in so much less this time, you know, it's freed this money up.
So we don't have to do any further paperwork?
You just
or
have to have a
approval
budget
for that?
limit if you decide to do this project, he told me.
Okay.
So is the 280 grand, is it in our capital outlay currently?
It's in a separate, he had it in another account, capital outlay, GPS. He's got it identified, line item, 14176100799. Again, I just asked him the other day, I said, hey, in order to do a project, you gotta find funding. And it's easy to say fund balance, because that's just automatic route. I said, if you can help me find where there's some money, you know, let me know, and he did today. So. Any more questions? Director Fields, how do you feel about the building being maintained for other services?
Oh, I'm in complete support.
I mean, you know, my ideal is, you know, just thinking is, you know, the band, the lady, you know, Title IX issues with women's sports, you know, we could do something for them in there, for softball and, you know, baseball, whatever, you know, there's a lot of options
I agree.
to help with that.
And the way, the discussion has been so far, it would be a facility that you could continue to improve and add to. So,
Well, I'm gonna make a motion that we do it.
We're talking about the new building.
I got a question. What's the name again? Sorry.
Mr. Howard Walks.
Howard.
Yes.
If it's currently right now going about $45 to $50 a square foot to put up a metal building, why is it $550,000 for y'all to repair? If we could build back about a 3,000 square foot building for about 125 grand. Now, it's not including electric, but that's just a metal building.
Well, it's, you know, you're carefully taking a building down and then removing everything bad. I believe they're putting pin piles down under the footers and then building it back up. So it's not the best way to build a building. We're not just starting a building and going up. We're taking it
But
down.
would it not be cheaper to just tear it down and just rebuild from scratch?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You're not building buildings for $45, $50 anymore. It's more
You sh-
metal
okay.
buildings. It's upwards of, you know, for a facility like this, you're talking a couple $100 a square foot.
$200 a square foot for a metal building.
Yeah. Well, it's a little more than that because I think you have bathrooms and that kind of thing in, and
They don't.
they don't.
No.
So they don't have bathrooms in their field house?
Not in that.
No.
Not in that.
It's just a metal building with concrete floor. That's all it is.
4 walls and a roof.
I mean, listen, I'm all for it, but
There's no basement under that,
no.
Under the weight room?
not under that.
No.
No, okay, so the other's where you go
So that's
into
what
your
slid
fitness
out.
room and stuff.
Yeah, that hillside.
That's on the other side. Okay.
I think it's a great idea to build, you know, to have the space, and we've identified a need for it.
Yeah.
I think the cost to do it's what I'm questioning is the same as Josh, is the price per square foot seems, you know, really high for that building. Because basically you're just, I mean, it's just an open span metal building. We already have the building itself.
Mhm.
And I understand we got the labor for deconstructing and reconstructing, I understand that. But we've already got the HVAC, we've. I
It's
mean,
brand new,
I
we
mean,
just
it's
put
a-
it in.
So, I mean, it's I don't know, to me, that would be a wash, taking it off and putting it back on and reusing it. I don't know, that's where I'm having a hard time seeing the $500,000.
When we bid it out, we would know,
Yeah.
you know, because we would have to bid it. Right?
Well,
And you'd have to hire an architect.
right. So question number 3, discuss recommend repairing CCHS weight room. That's fine, we can approve to repair the weight room, but we've got to hire the architect first, correct? So should that be first on the agenda?
Well, we've done
We're
it
hired.
through one phase.
What do you mean you're
hired?
hiring?
They
well,
paid
paid
them,
February,
I think $17,000.
What now?
We done paid them $17,000.
That was just to come up and basically tell us, hey, it's not, we can't use it.
$400,000.
Right.
They made the estimate.
Yeah, we've not hired them to do this
No,
work.
no.
Right. That's what I thought.
So what do you think?
I think we should do the project.
Not gonna hurt to get some quote.
No, you, like I said, I mean, if we want to hire an architect
Yeah.
to discuss repairing or discuss, yeah, I'm all for
I mean,
that.
if it comes in too high, we don't have to do it,
We'll
so.
do all this. Been 500,000 to 1.7, that's 2.2. You know, I just, and I hope you guys get it all, I'm for it. But our kids deserve some stuff too. And you guys have been very supportive, I'm not saying you've not. Be a great benefit.
So in the event, I mean, what, you just wanna hire another architect?
Who you gonna
Because
hire?
they have already gave an estimate.
You guys are mad because the number come in too high on that new building. But these guys have done a good job, all the jobs they've done for us. That's my opinion.
We're going on past reputation, what they've done for us.
Yeah.
I would have no trouble for them continuing with their,
Well, we should have learned from that roof project that, you know, all change is not good.
Well, I mean, I don't care what architect you use, but it's the job of the architect to make sure that we're getting the best possible price. Correct? Okay. So who oversees that? Do you all just go out and get bids? Who do you get your bids from? Like, what's that all about? Like, is there, I mean, we would like to use local people if we could, obviously.
They advertise it.
It's the same process for all construction.
Yeah.
So, okay, so, I mean, we're paying them $120-something thousand for that 1.7 million, and then it's your job to make sure that we're getting the best price. 100%.
Well, it has to be bid. So
Correct.
we designed to meet your budget.
Mr. Lyson, do you have a motion?
I'd make a motion that we approve going ahead with the current project. And
Can I say the word? We're not to number 4, right? We're just talking about number 3.
This is on the
Number-
weight room.
yes.
only.
Okay,
This is not
so,
the big complex.
because I'm getting confused, because it seems like we're talking about two different
No.
projects.
Well,
This money,
I
the-
mentioned the second project.
the monies I've discussed have to relate to the repair of the current building.
Right, okay, I was making sure I was
It
on the
has
right.
nothing to do with the $1.7 million.
Right.
no,
So we have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Call it on.
Mr. Lastly, just for the record, do you care to repeat your motion to move forward with the current project?
yeah, make a motion, we move forward with the current project.
Of repairing the current weight room.
Yeah, to repair and,
With MBI as the architect.
yes,
It needs to have that.
Of the field house at CCHS?
Weight room.
So what I'm gonna do?
Weight room,
No, it's a separate item.
weight room instead of field house? Weight room instead of field house, is that the correct wording?
Yeah, it's
Weight
weight
room
room.
is separate. But weight room.
We don't have to. You're against it?
To move forward with the current project of repair of weight room at Campbell County High School.
current rate.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Morgan?
Yes.
Burge?
No.
Creekmore?
Yes.
Fields?
Yes.
Heatherly?
No, based on it being a weight room.
James?
No.
Lastly?
Yes,
Lester?
No.
Miller?
Yes.
Rodner?
no,
Failed.
Okay, that settles that.
All right, moving on. Second item on the agenda is just, I invited the principal and the athletic director to come down to try to identify, the square footage or what their plans, what they had in mind for the complex. And so I'm gonna recognize them. Mr. Faust, Mr. Plant.
All right, I'll let Brad, we've met with several builders and some other people, so I'll kind of let him go over. I can hand that out.
I can talk to Dan. You want to hand some out? I only made 15 copies. I didn't know there were going to be that many people here, so. And so when I say this is kind of rough, it's kind of rough, but I've been meeting with, and Mr. Faust has been meeting with different construction companies. We've had to approach people, we've looked at gym floors, just to try to get an idea of, number one, how big can we build for what money we have? And then what will the guts of it cost? You know, so if you kind of look there, that first page is just a picture of where we want to put the building. It's 125 yards by 60 yards across. So length is 125 yards and 60 yards width. So if you go back to the next page, and again, when I say this is rough, this is just kind of what we took to a few of these folks that do construction companies to give them an idea of what we hoped for. Okay? Not necessarily what we can afford to build yet, just what we hoped for. So there's a 60-yard turf football field right there. Okay? A basketball court is your brown area, and the weight room is the gray area. That doesn't have any bathrooms. It doesn't have anything like that in it. Okay? It's just a 243-foot long and 150-foot wide building, which is massive. Okay? So there, again, like I said, no bathrooms, no electric, no architect, no nothing yet. Okay? So if you flip it, there's a 3D print, kind of just what a building would look like. And then if you flip to the last one, this is the first one we have in. We're waiting on 3 more. Okay, this is just from Twin K Construction up in Scott County that does metal buildings. Just to build the building and the concrete, and you can see what all's left out down there, it would be $1.286493. That would be a metal building with a concrete floor for the weight room, a concrete floor for the basketball court, and everything else would be turf. So that does not include architectural drawings, doesn't include HVAC, sprinklers. We realize we gotta have all that, but this is a good starting place for us.
What is a full height liner panel?
So if you go full, so the inside of the building, the walls are 30-foot high. So we told them we at least needed metal up 12 feet where kids could not get up above it.
Gotcha.
So if you did a full lining, you add 49,209.
Gotcha.
So they did us an alternate one where we said, we don't need 60 yards. 60 yards of turf is way too much. So if you cut it down to 150 by 204, it drops it almost $100,000. So it gets you down closer to 1.2 million. So if you cut off another 10 yards, which 40 yards is probably enough. Like I said, we went big just to get an idea of what we were looking at. You probably drop it down to about 1.1. So we've spoke with the turf companies. We're looking at about, he said anywhere from 260 to 300,000 for the turf. Basketball court will cost you about $30,000.